Hey YouTube, it's me protogenius back with another fun paper airplane tutorial. Now, this is a simplified 737 that I have designed. It is made with regular 8.5 by 11 copy paper, which we call letter paper in America. For those of you that are using A4 paper, I am going to be putting up a tutorial on how to make a compatible, or how to adapt your A4 paper to be compatible with this tutorial. And so, this is actual origami. This is all folds, no cuts. It's one piece of paper, and it can fly, which is amazing. And so it just depends on how you sweep the wings back. Anyways, but yeah, come on, follow along, and we'll get right to it. All right, here we go. So first off, we're going to take this piece of paper and we're going to fold it longwise, like we do in a lot of my other tutorials. We're just going to fold that right over in half. We're going to make our standard house fold that I do all the time on so many of my tutorials. All right, right in half like that. Okay, just going to pop that open right there, and then we're going to fold straight across, folding into the corner right there, and we're going to make our first of the house folds right here, just like that, right up into the corner. You're going to pull it right back down in. Same thing on the other side, just like this. Perfect, right down into the corners, just like that. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and we're gonna push in on the sides right here. We're gonna flatten it out on the top right here. Well, get my hands on this thing here. All right, and we're going to put it down right into the crease, right into the tip of where the airplane is gonna be. And we have our house-shaped fold right now, so perfect. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our what will be our airplane here. We're gonna pick it up, we're gonna fold it down, we're gonna kind of open up and flatten it out like this. Now these are gonna be the wings, this is gonna be the top of the airplane right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're gonna flatten this out like this. We just need to just kind of solidify a couple folds that are gonna be reference points for us here. So now we're gonna take and we're gonna fold this area right here straight over to where it meets up with this line in the middle right here. Just like this. Perfect. All right, fold that right into the middle just like that. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side right here. If I'm too fast for you guys, feel free to back up. You can pause it, you can go back and rewind it. Just do what you need to do to get that. I know I'd like to do it slower, but for time purposes, I have to do it a little bit quicker sometimes. So, all right, so now we're gonna open those back up now that we've folded both of those into the middle right there. We're gonna take that, we're gonna flatten back out. We're gonna lay it back on its side again. We're going to make a fold from right here up into this area right here, making this piece right here go right against this line. So we're going to take right here, fold that straight across, just like that. All right. Now I'm not going to fold all the way down across this piece right here, and there's a reason why, because you'll see that. But you see this right here, now we've got it flattened down, and you've got a little bit of a line right here that we've already pre-cut, and we've creased that already. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of hold our finger right here on that area. We're going to fold that back and over, just like that. Now we're going to make, as that flattens out, you're going to see there's a little bit of a pocket right in here. We're going to make a fold from this area back to this corner right here. So I'm going to take and we're going to make a bit of a fold. I'm going to use two fingers to push that down right there and just kind of crease it over. Now, believe it or not, you'll see that this will actually do most of it by itself because there's a fold right here, and if you just kind of flatten down on top of that fold right there, everything just kind of lays flat, just perfectly like you need, just like that. All right, let's flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to fold this over right here, just like that. Don't crease all the way up to the top, but you see our little fold right here. We're going to take and we're going to put our finger there, lay it over. Remember our top fold right here. So we're just going to take and we're going to push that down on top right there, and then it's going to crease right down into the corner like we need right there. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to take and we're going to open that up, flatten that other part down right there. Okay, so now we're going to make the back tail fins for this airplane right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to kind of fold up. We're going to get about an inch in this area right here. You can adjust this depending on how much you want to, how big you want the tail to be. With my with the 737, it's going to be a little bit smaller. If you're going to be making a Gulfstream, which will be another tutorial, it's going to be a little bit bigger. So you roll this up, it's a little bit bigger, pull it back to where it's a bit smaller fold, you're going to have a smaller tail. And so we're going to get about an inch right here for this airplane. For those of you doing the A4 style paper, it's going to be just a little bit slightly smaller than that, than an inch. And just have to do a conversion over 2 metrics from there, and I apologize if I don't have it right on off the top of my head here. So now we folded that down in a parallel fold from here to this line right here. Okay, so we're going to take and we're going to pick this up, and we're going to lay it down on its back and push this piece right over right here. Okay, good. Now you see we've got another little pocket fold right here. What we're going to do is we're going to fold this piece straight up and go parallel with the other one that's underneath it. Make sure these match up good. Do a mirror fold on it. I don't know all the names of the folds, guys. If I don't say it correctly, please forgive me. I am from a little town in Utah. I grew up in the country. So this was just something I did for fun growing up, and I enjoy it, but I'm not perfect, so forgive me. Okay, so now what we're going to do, then we have that folded down. We're going to take and we're going to open that up and kind of pinch back in the tail area right here. And we're going to lay this piece over on its side, just like this. Both directions, just like that. Now this is going to be our tail right here of the airplane. As we open that up, you can see now that this is our back fins here. Yeah, ailerons and our tail rudder. Got it right there. Perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start to fold the top of the airplane here. So we're going to grab both of these sides, push down where the tail is at, and fold it upwards like this. So it's going to look like this. This is going to be our wing still, remember. So this area right here, we're going to fold this piece down. We're going to fold it right in half, and not let it go completely to this fold right here. We're going to just close to it, because it's going to be really tight if you fold it all the way right down to that point. So we'll pull back just a little tiny bit right here, if you can see that. Hey, Chris. Anyway, fold that right there. And try not to mangle your tail area over here too much. Now, depending on how well you want to make this fly, you make them a little bit bigger and it'll fly a little bit better. Typically, don't make them too big though, because then it'll just look goofy. And so, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to fold that right on over. Okay, I'm going to do another fold right in half right here. This one can go right to the line on this one. Right in half, right there to that line. So now it's starting to get that airplane shape on the top right here. I'm going to fold that on over, do it again on the other side, just like that. Perfect. Okay. Now this is going to get a little tricky here, because we're going to make a box shape on the top of the airplane here. So we're going to take and we're going to just kind of get our fingers up underneath the inside here, and we're going to crease right down the middle of this. It's good and thick now, so just bear with me on it. It'll take a little bit of work, but I promise it's worth it. All the way back into the back area. If you need to lay it down on the table, that'll work too. So there we go, folding it right in half. Sorry if my hands are getting in the way. Trying to do the best I can here so you guys can see what's going on. All right, fold that right in half. Perfect. Okay, so now it's going to just kind of stay folded up like this here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Go ahead and fold that right in half. Kind of crease that right in half right there. Perfect. All right, laying it down on its top here, folding it right in half, right in half. Now this will give that cockpit more of a rounded shape. I know it's boxy right now, but as you get closer to the end of the airplane, you'll see you can shape it more. And so, go ahead and fold that right over, right in half. Perfect. Okay. It doesn't have to be exactly in half. I would prefer, because you can see right here, it's actually a little bit more folded closer to the middle area, but that's just going to give us that shape we need to give a three-dimensional shape on the cockpit as we get closer to the end of the airplane here. All right, you have a little bit of stuff hanging out underneath. Don't worry too much about that at this stage. We're going to fix that here in a minute. You can see a little bit of hanging out right there. Some stuff is hanging out. All right, now we're going to work on the bottom of the airplane on the wings. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at this middle fold right here. You see that fold in the middle? Okay, you can see it on the inside a bit, but everything is folded right up to that, right there. We're going to take that fold and we're going to come down from that. We're going to make a parallel fold up with the wing at about an inch, 3/4 of an inch, depending on how big you want your wings to be. And just go straight back up like this, right there. Perfect. All right, just like that. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side, just like that. Right there. Very good. All right, we're gonna do two really kind of interesting folds. I'm gonna actually fold this top area up out of the way for a second here so you can see what we're doing. Now, you can see underneath here we have our little fold right here. I'm gonna pull in for this so you guys can see better. Okay, so we got this little fold right here in the middle. And we're gonna take and we're gonna fold this area right here back to where it meets up with that. Just like this, right here. Perfect. All right, just like that. Now I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Just like this, right here. Just like that. I'm dropping it. Okay, just like that. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the back side, only this one's gonna be just a right angle fold. So we're gonna take and we're going to fold right back to where the paper meets up in the middle and do a right angle fold right here, just like that. Now we got a little bit of a square shape here. It's a square. And go ahead and take and flip it on over. Do the same thing on the other side, right here, just like that. All right, perfect, good. Okay, so now we got a little bit, almost an inch right here. It's almost dead on an inch actually, from what I'm seeing here. But this area right here in between, this is going to be our reference point of how wide our wing is going to be here as it goes and tapers down into our point. And so we're going to start with the back of the wing here. We're going to take and kind of fold those back open a little bit right here, and we're going to get our finger up on the inside of this. Gonna pull it open like that. Now put our thumb right there where that crease was, like that, right there to that point. And we're gonna get up underneath there, and we're gonna make a fold back from that point all the way to the tip of the wing right here. Now, if it's easier for you to do it on the table, go ahead and set it down, because sometimes you gotta do that. So let's go ahead and fold it. I actually typically pick it up to do this part here, because I don't always have a table to work on when I'm making these. And so. Okay, so we got that all the way out to the point, right to this reference point right here. Good, now just try to remember, or try to keep it more right angle from the back still. And then let it fold into the middle area right here. Don't go too far. Just remember, you're gonna have to overlap these here in a second as they fold back. All right, perfect, let's do the same thing on the other side. Go ahead and flip it on over. Now let's get our finger up inside of this. Put our finger where the crease is at, right there, and fold it back to the point right here. Just like that. Perfect, okay, that one went a whole lot easier than the other side. I'm not fighting with it. I picked it up off the table so I could do it. I gotta manhandle it a little bit. Okay, so I got this piece right here. It's folded back. We're gonna do the same thing up on the front now. It's gonna be a little different because it's not a right angle on this one, but we'll get it. It'll be fine. So we're gonna take and put our thumb right there on our reference point where that crease comes to a point right there. Get your finger up on the inside of it right there. Now we're gonna flatten this out right here. Put it back to where it was at on the fold. And just kind of, you can see we can kind of, I almost flatten it out like that. We're going to take and we're going to get our finger inside right here. We're going to make a fold back from where our thumb is all the way to the point of the wing right there. Just like that. Now this is a very crucial fold on this airplane. If you don't get it right, it's going to kind of throw things off. Now on this one, I actually can just fold straight over on top of the piece underneath it. But depending on what kind of airplane we're making and what fat you want the wings to be, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay. Now it should normally stay fairly parallel with this midline here, but if it comes off just a little bit, you're going to be okay. Alright. So now we're going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Remember, get our thumb up on the inside. Put your fingernail right there. And make sure it matches up with the ones underneath, because if you don't get these to match up real well, one wing's going to be a lot bigger than the other one. So go ahead and put your fingernail right there. Open it up. Let's flatten out this other piece on top of it right here, so it creases it down inside, or down like that. And look at our other fold underneath for reference. Make sure it's correctly it's in the right spot right there. All right, good. Okay. Now we're just going to take and I'm going to fold straight on over right here, all the way down to that fold that we just made. Just like that. Okay. Now that might have been a little bit more of a difficult fold, you guys. Tell me in the comments if you're having a hard time with that particular area. tell me, and I'll see if I can make a tutorial specifically focused on that part of the airplane, so it's a little bit easier for you to understand what's going on there. Okay, so now it's starting to look a lot more like an airplane. If you flatten this area out right here, you'll start to see you got your wings and everything. Make sure these pieces are overlapped correctly on there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to open up this bottom area right here on the airplane. And we're going to take and fold these parts right down into the middle area. Not exactly into the middle, but close. Because this is an area you want it to lay flat. So I always fold it just a little ways off. Because if you put it right into the crease, it makes it a lot harder for it to go flat when you want it to be. And so we'll do the same thing on the other side. Sorry if I'm really quick at this, you guys. I've made so many of these airplanes. You have no idea how many of these I've made. Alright. Okay, so now it's a lot smaller on it now. This is going to be an area where you can hold onto it to throw this airplane. So we're going to take and we're going to fold this right up into the middle where our crease was. And we're going to fold it back down right there on that crease. Perfect. Just like that. Both sides, right from that crease. Now it should look exactly the same. The wings should be the same size on both sides. If they're not, it's going to look weird. So try and get those as close to the same as you can. Alright, now we're going to take and we're going to do some work on the top here. So go ahead and push the top back down the way it was when we did our little box fold on it. And you'll see it's starting to, it actually opened up the tail all on its own. But this has got that, it's starting to get that airplane top look. And we're going to take and fold our wings out just a little bit. Like this. This one has a little bit smaller wings on it, so I'm going to actually pull out just a little bit of space underneath it right here. Well, just where the wing sits on there. So we're going to fold the wing upwards, just like we did just now. Alright, now we're going to do the tip of the airplane, the nose. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the nose area. And we're going to do a fold right in the middle from this tip right here to this point right there. Just like this. We're going to come up here. It's not going to be an exact right angle fold, but we're going to fold this downwards on this part right here. Like this. You can see that fold right there. Just like that. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to kind of push it down in the middle and make a little bit of a V fold in here. Just like this. You see what I'm doing right there? So now the tip looks like this of the airplane. It looks like that. It's got a little V-shaped fold in the front right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make another little fold right underneath it. Not quite exactly into the middle on between the fold we just did and the tip right here, but we're going to, you know, just kind of make another V fold, really fold right here. So it folds over on top of itself, just like this. Makes a little bit of an S bend right there. Okay. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now this is probably one of the harder parts to get exact on here, but we'll get it. Don't worry about it. So go ahead and put your finger down in the middle. And let's make that fold as closely as possible to the other one to match up here. Okay, just like that. Perfect. No, not quite. Okay. Now we're folding right back to where it meets up with where the V meets up with the middle fold on the ridge of the back of the airplane, right there. It looks pretty bad right now, I know. We'll get it. We'll get it. You just gotta work it a little bit to get it in there, but don't work it too much, because if you do, the tip of the airplane is going to be kind of all squashed up, and you don't want that. So now it's going to look like that. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hold it to the side like this. Just like this, and we're going to push that piece down and over on top of the other part underneath it. So it looks like this now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go from the tip of the airplane and we're going to fold over and make a locking fold right here. Just like this. I'm going to fold it over and fold it over again on top of itself. Just like that. Alright, you can see this really quick. Right there. See how we folded that in on top of itself right there? Just like that. Okay. So I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way. I know it's a really small little area to see on this one. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we have our little S bend right here, and we're going to fold that over. Try to make it match the other side. You can actually do this by opening it up on the top a little bit and fold it over. Try to keep, you have to keep that piece inside. You got to keep those two S bends, because if it flattens out, it's not going to look right. See how that popped out right there? That popped out. So we're going to push it back inside, right there. And we're going to fold this underneath. Perfect. Okay. So now those two locking folds are going to hold it in place. Now the stuff underneath, sometimes you need to push it out of the way to get to things in there to where the fold does what it's supposed to. But you can see now. So those two little folds right here just kind of folded open over. It's locked the tip of the airplane into the shape that we want. Just like this. All right, so now we've got a taper on the front of this airplane that pulls the nose downwards and gives us that cockpit shape on the front of it. And our airplane is done. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna flatten out this back tail area here. And that is how you make a simplified 737. Now, there is going to be a few other tutorials going to be coming up here soon. This is the basis for a couple of different airplanes I have now that are a lot more complex. And this one does fly, depending on how you sweep the wings back, where you adjust it to sit when you fold it. And when you fold that, it's not that hard. It's just this little fold right here underneath. It's the angle that you put it on as you fold that, and then when you lay everything flat, it'll adjust where that wing is swept to. And so, yeah. So that's how you make a simplified 737. You guys feel free to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe on this tutorial. Tell me if there's any, if you have any ideas of different things you'd like to see me make. Go ahead and put it on there. I really like a good challenge when it comes to designing things. Been working on a few different ones. I've had a few subscribers they've asked me, hey, can you do this? And I've got a few really good tutorials coming up now. And I'm going to be trying to post a paper airplane or origami tutorial, and even some papercraft tutorials here, like once a week, hopefully, over the next while. So thanks so much, you guys, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.